But then again, where do you have Peterson ranked?
You know the ampersand used to be part of the alphabet?
What do I do with that?
Yeah. Eat, sleep, fantasy. You rocking with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts. Running backs better follow the conversation with John, Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation. We doing what we like. Tune in every week. Guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy football enthusiasts. I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah. Eat, sleep, fantasy. Eat, sleep, fantasy.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Eat, Sleep, Fantasy Football Podcast, also known as the Week 1 of Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Christian Brito.
My name is Jeff.
And joining me, as always, is Mr. Dale DeMott. What's up, sexy beast?
Fuck you, Dale! Fuck you!
What's up, buddy? We are the week 1 of...
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why I called you buddy.
All the time, by the way.
Do I?
Yes, when you answer the phone, it's always, hey, buddy.
Oh, yeah, I do say that.
I don't understand. That's what I call, like, the little kids that I work with.
Yeah, is it demeaning?
Do you view me as, like, much younger than
buddy.
You or something?
I don't call you little buddy.
Hey, little buddy. No, that's what I call my penis.
On text, I always just say bud. I feel like that's a little better.
I feel like bud is also what you would say if we were in an argument.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on there, bud.
Yeah.
Watch it, pal. Mister.
We are the week 1 of Fantasy Football Podcast because we have so much promise. We're undefeated right now, and
right.
we're going into the fight without a loss.
Yes. We don't have any wins yet, but we haven't lost.
Yep, we haven't lost. That's what's important.
You're a winner in my heart and eyes, though.
For you guys that don't know, eatsleepfantasy.com is a website.
It is a website. Correct.
And we are we have rankings, we have articles, we have the DFS package available now if you subscribe. The DFS and Dynasty podcast for Eat Sleep Fantasy. They put together awesome lineups for FanDuel and DraftKings. They also do pick'ems and a couple other things. So make sure you head on over there. Click on that banner on the top of the page for the DFS package. It's worth it, I'm telling you. It's $30 for the year right now. And just this week, you can win that $30 back. It pays for itself. And then you can have it for the rest of the year. I'm telling you, these guys, if you need to know any information, especially about DFS during the season, it's JJ and Steve and Austin on that podcast. It's amazing. They know their shit. So I highly, highly recommend them. Go check it out.
If you've ever wanted to really put money into DFS, but you're kind of uncertain what to do, spend the $30 on their package. I mean, you're not going to get a DFS package anywhere for that price, and their lineups hit all the time. And they're really good at this. I think way better than you and I are at that side of fantasy, Dale.
I will gladly admit that I love DFS, and I will give advice when asked. But if you want the good shit, you need to go talk to them.
Right? They're like. Never mind. I was going to make a drug reference, but I've already started with a penis joke, so let's just move on.
And we've been talking about packages for like 3 minutes now.
Yeah, so that's fine. Different kinds of packages. So today we're going to give you some of our starts and sits, particularly Canadian Clayton Cadeau. Can you tell me how to say this name?
I fuck it up every time.
I don't know. Does it matter?
No, just call him Clayton.
Yeah, his name's
Clayton.
Canadian Clayton. If you want to follow him on Twitter, first of all, he does a beautiful job writing for us, producing a lot of our episode content. And if you want to follow him on Twitter, it's at... Oh, fuck it. I don't know how to spell his name, man. I'm gonna try. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. It's at Clayton Cadeau, right?
At Cadeau Clayton.
Okay, at Cadeau Clayton. And that is spelled Cadieux.
Yep.
And then Clayton like a normal human being.
Yeah, exactly. Clayton is very handsome.
Right? He was on our handsome article.
He was.
All right.
which has thousands of views.
It really does. And not many of them are happy. So let's move on to our quarterback starts.
Hold on. We never talked about this. The everybody that was so unhappy about our article.
Do we need to?
Forget it.
I don't think we need to.
A lot of women were mad. That's all I'm going to say.
That's my daily life.
Can't please them.
That's your daily life.
Good. Oh, man, you have no idea.
10 out of 10 with the jokes here so far. So, let's start with our quarterback starts, man. Lamar Jackson. Tell me why he's going to be a beast this week. I feel like it's going to be the anti-Dolphins parade, by the way.
Definitely. It will be. Yeah, I mean, just overall, anybody playing the Dolphins this year is going to ball out, especially then on the rushing side of the ball. Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson are going to put up really good numbers against this Dolphins defense. I mean, is there much to really analyze here?
Dolphins are bad. Dolphins can't tackle. Dolphins don't have any linebackers. Like, they don't have any linebackers. You could probably go out there and play linebacker for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I read something that made me sad. Out of all the players that the Dolphins cut on their roster, you know how people make roster moves after that and they pick off players off waivers and free agents that get cut? Dolphins are the only team that cut all of their players and no one picked up anyone the Dolphins cut. Not a single person.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going off of last year, like, okay, like it might not be the worst matchup ever, but just looking at some of these moves that they made in the offseason and in the preseason, it's not looking good. And a ton of points are going to get put up by a Baltimore Ravens offense that has slightly improved, I would say, right?
Slightly improved. He will still listen. He's going to give you a ton running, just like Mark Ingram will. But he'll give you a little bit in the passing game. But more than 200 yards, I think, passing for Jackson, along with probably 60, 70, 80 rushing yards, which is, I think, enough to, on its own, warrant a start.
Yep.
Dolphins defense was bad last year, giving up 27 points per game. They will be much worse this year.
Okay.
I expect them to be a 2 to 3 win team.
It's worth noting, and maybe this is a really cheap DFS play, but I'm not getting into that. Marquise Brown for the Ravens could be a nice little weapon for the Ravens this week against the Dolphins. Just a kind of sleeper.
Okay. All right, let's move on to our next quarterback because first one didn't take a lot of analysis. Dolphins bad. Let's talk about number 2 here, Dale, and our number 2 start, Dak Prescott. Yeah, I feel like this is a very similar logic here. Giants bad. But that's kind of how you do starts, right? Whose defense is horrible and whose defense is going to get scored all over. And the Dolphins and Giants are pretty good bets for that to happen week in, week out. Dak is going to be able to, I think, throw the ball and run the ball at will. The Giants' 11 starters last year, they are returning 4 of them. So Prescott should have a pretty good time on Sunday, with that.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. I put Dak in my top 10 this week among quarterbacks.
Right.
So we have our rankings on our website, by the way. I don't know if I said that. But yeah, I moved Dak.
What's our website?
My top 10. eatsleepfantasy.com.
Oh, it's a website. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it has a .com after it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really like the passing attack for Dallas, in particular Dak. But you gotta really look at all the wide receivers over there too.
A couple of other starters that Clayton listed in his article. And it's just guys that I think we're just going to rapidly mention here. Jameis Winston against the 49ers, Kirk Cousins versus the Falcons, and Matthew Stafford against the Cardinals. Any of those guys really stand out to you, Dale?
No, all good starts. I'm not crazy about Matthew Stafford. He does have a really good matchup, but obviously when we're talking about matchups, I mean, some of the stuff is obvious, right? Dolphins, Giants, Cardinals. Anybody playing those defenses, you're pretty much slotting. When I'm ranking, I bump them up a couple spots just based off of those horrible matchups. So, yeah.
I think Jameis Winston here is probably the one that stands out to me the most. I think he is going to ball out this week, and a guy that I will probably heavily have in a lot of leagues, in a lot of daily, depending on cost. But I love him this week, and I think he's a guy that's going to be a top 5 quarterback this weekend.
Yeah, when I was doing my rankings, I just couldn't put him on my top 5, and I get it why you would, just because of the matchup and the first game, and I do think this offense will run a little bit better than it did last year too. But man, I couldn't bump him ahead of Lamar Jackson, and I couldn't put him above Russell Wilson against Cincinnati either. So for those reasons, I'm out.
Okay, I don't agree, but it's fine.
Okay. Who else you got?
All right, so let's move to the running back position and talk a little bit there. Okay. Or do you want to do sits? Because we have it structured as starts and then sits, but do you want to...
Let's go through all our starts first.
All our starts, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt more comfortable. All right, so running backs, let's start with Chris Carson. At home versus the Bengals, who were porous against the run last year, 137 rushing yards per game. And the Seahawks have come out and said that Chris Carson's going to be their guy. It's going to see most of the rushes. Penny's still going to get his, but I don't think it's going to be a lot. I expect Chris Carson to dominate the game in terms of touches, more than 20 rushes. What do you think?
Yeah, I sent you. I really wanted to start a new game with you, but it didn't. I said it in the chat, and I don't think anybody was interested in playing a game with me.
I don't like your games.
I think it would be really good, but you nixed it, so whatever. Well, you didn't nix it. You just had very low enthusiasm for my game. But
yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay, so this is my game.
Oh, God damn it. Okay, continue.
Number 3, Penny. Number 2, Dion Lewis. Number 1, Tevin Coleman. What did I list?
People that are listed as backups.
People that are listed as backups that I do not own any shares of. I just thought it was interesting. I just don't.
I have shares of Tevin Coleman everywhere, so that news yesterday was like a punch to my stomach, but then like immediately I was like, I don't believe in Matt Brito.
Yeah. The news he's referring to is Brito on the unofficial depth chart being ahead of Coleman. We talked about that a little bit yesterday.
Who writes these unofficial depth charts, by the way?
John said the PR people at...
I don't like those guys.
So anyways.
One bit.
So that was my game.
Okay.
Your
game sucks, by the way.
I think it's a good game. Okay, how about this? Anybody playing... I'll give you 6 teams right here. And if you have any running back on these 6 teams, you should start them. Okay?
Okay.
Carolina, Detroit, Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, and Baltimore.
Okay, I was waiting for you to say Baltimore. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So basically, David Montgomery, Christian McCaffrey, Chris Carson, Kerryon Johnson, Zeke, and Mark Ingram are the guys. If you have them anywhere on your roster, you need to start them.
Okay. No Tampa Bay?
I'm not overly,
I'm pretty optimistic about the offense for that game.
Who are you going to start?
San Francisco going all the way to Tampa Bay. I think Jameis Winston plus Chris Godwin will be 2 players that I'm in love with for this week.
Who?
Winston and Godwin.
Well, we're talking about running backs, right?
Oh, at running back? No, absolutely not. I'm not touching the running backs there.
Yeah, okay, good.
Not until that situation maybe shakes out a little bit, but I just... We have to see a lot happen at that running back position for us to have any sort of confidence in anyone there. So...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the San Francisco defense, running defense at least, is pretty stout and can stop poor old Peyton Barber.
Okay. No problem there.
Okay. What else you got?
Peyton Barber, I don't have a problem with that. Peyton Barber's not good.
No.
So, and
But
neither is
he's
Ronald Jones.
He's a running back, yeah.
He is a running back, kind of like eastleaguefantasy.com is a website, but it's not like...
Peyton Barber, he's a running back.
He's a running back. It's a website. All right, so let's move on. Next piece of starters here. Leonard Fournette against the Chiefs. So how do you feel about Fournette? Because everybody is kind of just putting him back into he's going to be good territory. I believe it, but I'm very hesitant.
Okay, so you're basically ranking it from like poor, good, very good, great. And he's good? Poor, good, very good, great.
Where's like the average? Poor, average, good, very good, great.
Now we're just complicating it.
And terrible.
We should just say what we mean.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I give him a 6, 7.
Yeah. So he's good.
He's good.
He's good. He's better than Peyton Barber.
Yeah, Peyton Barber's like a 2.
And, the Chiefs, they didn't necessarily finish the year very strong as far as their rushing defense goes. I know they made some improvements, but I still don't believe in, and I know John, I think, has a differing opinion that he talked about yesterday. He thinks that the Chiefs will be a much better defense on the front end. But, I think that Leonard Fournette, if he's as healthy as everybody says he is and he's ready to go, I do not see an issue with starting Leonard Fournette with a lot of confidence.
All right. So Clayton gave us some other running back starts here, and I'm going to list them off. You tell me what stands out here. Mark Ingram, Tevin Coleman, and Austin Eckler. Somebody here jumps off the page is much more startable than the other guys, right?
Say the names again.
Mark Ingram, Tevin Coleman, and Austin Eckler.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 of those guys don't belong on that list.
2 of those guys don't belong on... What do you mean? Austin Eckler belongs on that list. Austin Eckler's going to ball out. But the guy that stands out the most to me on this list is Mark Ingram.
Of course, yeah.
Mark Ingram is going to ball out, I think is the only way I could put it. Mark Ingram, again, playing against the Dolphins. 5,100, by the way, on DraftKings. So if you're looking for a guy that you can play as your RB2 there, yes, he's not going to catch many passes in that offense, but I think he should be a beast come this weekend. 5,100, that's cheaper than Devonta Freeman, cheaper than Marlon Mack. That's about the same price as Tevin Coleman himself. So
the Dolphins
just a little tidbit there, just an FYI.
Yeah, last year the Dolphins gave up the second most yards on a per game basis in the NFL, and they're made worse. Not only did they make no improvements, but they actually shipped guys away.
Yep. So there's that.
Yeah. I don't think we really need to talk about Mark Ingram. Right now, I have Mark Ingram. I'll tell you where I have because I just finished my rankings. I put Mark Ingram at 9. I might give him a little bit of a bump, but then after 9, 8, 9, it starts getting really tough. You're gonna have to rank him above David Johnson versus Detroit, Kerryon Johnson versus Arizona. I don't know if I'm ready for that. So I think 9 is a pretty good spot. If you have him, you're starting him.
Okay, good. All right, so let's move on to wide receivers. We're going to cover the sits at the end along with some news, but let's start with wide receivers here. Kenny Golladay at the Cardinals. Golladay obviously had a breakout season, and instantly just kind of became the number one option for the Lions. And they found themselves putting Marvin Jones in the back burner and letting Golladay do his thing. So the Cardinals, not going to have their top two corners for this week. The Lions should probably get off to a good start at the Cardinals this week. What do you think is going to be the outlook for Golladay?
Yeah, I like Golladay. I think given the matchup against the Cardinals, he's almost a must-start. At the same time, just looking at it, I love Kerryon Johnson this week. Did we talk about Kerryon Johnson? Yeah, I think I mentioned him. Because I love Kerryon Johnson, I really think this run game is really going to be pounded. I think Matt Patricia really, really wants to get this ground game established. And Kerryon Johnson's a pretty much a lone guy out there. C.J. Anderson is just a guy there. I guess, he's serviceable, but it's going to be Kerryon Johnson's show. So on that end, I think I'm betting on Kerryon Johnson a little bit more than Golladay if we have to kind of choose one, right? Passing or running attack. But, yeah, you have to like the matchup, though.
I do like the matchup. So let's let's see what he shakes up in comparison to some of these other guys, though. So Dante Pettis at the Bucks. So I expect the Bucks to be able to put up some points this weekend. Now, conversely, then we're expecting the 49ers to attempt to stay in this game, and the Bucks defense is not very good. I think this could potentially be a shootout type of game, much like we saw Tampa Bay play in the beginning of games last year. Dante Pettis is, for now, the clear one in this offense. How do you foresee his outlook this weekend? Do you think he can kind of break out?
Yeah, absolutely. He's the number one option in San Francisco, and he has a really good matchup this week. So if we're going to see anything, I know it's week one, and we can't read too much into it, but this is something I'm really keeping an eye on, because if Dante Pettis shows some promise, even if he doesn't have a big game, but if you're watching it and you could see that, they're feeding the ball, watch his target numbers, just watch how San Francisco is operating, because this is going to tell you a lot from the end of the season. San Francisco has a really good matchup. I know I gave you 6 teams. Basically, if you have their running backs, I'll give you 6 teams if you have their wide receivers. And it's starting with Dante Pettis, D.D. Westbrook, DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, Kenny Golladay, Mike Evans, and
you're just gonna keep naming names.
Robert
Keep going.
Woods.
I want.
Robert Woods.
Is that it?
Robert Woods. Yeah.
Are you done?
Yep.
All right. So Dante Pettis this week, 5,400 on DraftKings. Kenny Golladay, 6,300. 2 wide receivers that you could potentially get as your 2 and 3 if you want to spend big money at the top, or if you want to potentially save a little bit there. I think Dante Pettis is a very nice start. So let's go on and move on to some other...
D.D. Westbrook. D.D. Westbrook. I just want to say D.D. Westbrook's name one more time, because I don't know if I'm going to be on a podcast. I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow's podcast or not. Before you guys make your final decisions, I'll be on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. But I do want to just mention D.D. Westbrook's name one more time, because I think him and Nick Foles are going to have something good, especially this week. D.D. Westbrook's playing, like we mentioned, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jags are playing Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. So D.D. Westbrook, is that the name that you wanted to say?
I just want to say D.D. Westbrook.
Okay. Is it because you enjoy saying his name?
Maybe. My initials are D.D. So, I don't know. That doesn't mean anything. I just want to bring that up.
Speaking of D's, how's Debbie?
Oh, God.
That's her initials too, right?
It is.
Deborah DeMott on Facebook, if you want to follow her.
Please stop it. I'll kill you.
What's wrong?
You just make me uncomfortable, that's all.
What makes you uncomfortable?
Because people start putting reviews on iTunes talking about my mom.
By the way, God bless the people that were doing that. If you want to write a review on iTunes, it doesn't even need to be serious anymore. If you want to give us a 5-star review, go there and just write something about Debbie. Downtown Debbie, beautiful Debbie, we love you. deep Debbie dives, whatever you want to say, put that on there. We heavily appreciate those, especially because they help people find our show. They won't know what the fuck you're talking about, but they help people find our show. All right. So, D.D. Westbrook, Will Fuller, and Calvin Ridley are some other names that Clayton mentions as potential starts. Again, if you want to check out his article or any of our other articles, such as the streaming article, such as the kickers article, which I know a lot of people have issues with, our waiver wire targets, which will be out every week. We've got a ton of content coming out in that regards on our website, which is what, Dale?
EatSleepFantasy.com.
Yeah, it's a website. So
we need a jingle for that. Like, you know how, what is it, like the .com? No,
we had a jingle for our show, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
For like
we did. But I feel like we need a jingle for the website. So every time we talk about our website, we just push the button and it's like, EatSleepFantasy.com or something like that. We need something catchy so people like walking into work singing the song like, oh, EatSleepFantasy.com.
Okay. All right. We could do that. Let me see. EatSleepFantasy.com.
That's basically what I just said.
No, but
you just dressed her up a little bit. That's
yeah. Hold on. I got this. Hot Pocket. Huh?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
But like, EatSleepFantasy.com.
It sounds like Red Robin.
Fuck. No, I'm hungry, man. So, yeah, man. Me and Dale are both now on this healthy lifestyle because he saw that I was losing weight, so he's doing the same thing. Dale's looking good out here.
We're trying, man.
We're trying.
And I don't want to die. At
John's still
young
a
age.
fat piece of shit, though.
Yes.
I'm just kidding, man. I love you, John. He's not going to hear this, right?
No, I doubt he listens.
Fuck you, John. Anyways, I forgot Armando existed. I haven't heard from him in like 8 years. Let's move on to our next streaming category. Let's talk a little bit about the tight ends, Dale.
Okay.
You enjoy a nice tight end, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he has listed his tight end start of the week, Delaney Walker. How old is Delaney Walker? Just guess. I'm going to Google it. You tell me how old.
I know exactly how old he is.
How old is Delaney Walker?
He's 34.
Nope.
32.
Nope.
31.
You're going the wrong way, by the way.
Really?
Yep.
Jeez, 36.
Oh, just you skipped over it.
35.
There you go. Really bad at this game. Also,
your game is way worse than mine.
What?
Your game is way worse than mine.
How old is Delaney Walker?
Yes.
You know, it'd be a more boring game than that. Delaney is his middle name. What is Delaney's first name?
Delaney Walker's first name is Johnny.
Really? Does he fucking look like a Johnny?
Johnny Walker. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe.
My God, I hate you so much. I hate you so much. By the way, is Bert short for anything? The Bert in our league?
No, I don't know.
Okay, anyways, his name is Hubert. Hubert Walker.
Hubert. Okay.
Is the
That's
tight
very
end.
distinguished.
I mean, the guy's 35 years old. What do you fucking think?
Yeah.
Season-ending injury last year, but tight ends were 7th. Gave up the 7th most points against the tight end. Browns gave up the 7th most points to the tight ends last year. Pretty inconsistent against that position. The Titans still don't have a wide receiver one. Whatever the fuck you think about Corey Coleman, they don't have a wide receiver one.
No. Okay, look, so we're on the...
Corey Davis. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I said Coleman. I'm going to correct myself immediately because I know there's people that like hear that and cringe. Yes. I felt it right now, and I needed to correct myself. Sorry.
Yeah. So we are on the thought train that the only option is going to get fed regardless of the matchup. I still think that this is going to be a little difficult for Delaney Walker. Even I don't think that the Titans are going to score much against the Cleveland Browns, really at all, passing or rushing. I'm not big on Derrick Henry this week, although in a couple of leagues I'm kind of forced to start him. But I think this is going to might be the start of something ugly for Tennessee.
Yes. I will tell you what.
What?
Not only do I think that Delaney Walker ends up with more work than Corey Davis, I also believe Adam Humphries, who's ranked 20 to 25 spots later in terms of wide receivers, and probably 50, 60 spots overall lower in rankings. Adam Humphries will have a better week than Corey Davis.
I like Adam Humphries a lot.
Okay.
Can you
stop piggybacking off my shit?
I stopped believing in Corey Davis months ago.
Thank you.
Okay.
He's going to have an awesome year now. It's possible. Yeah. It's possible, but, I'd rather take a shot on someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Let's move on. Other tight ends that Clayton said that you could potentially start here, Austin Hooper, and a guy that we've been talking for a while now, Jared Cook. The Saints, I expect to have an interesting week 1 against Houston. So that should be a fun matchup. I don't know how much the score will be able to be run up, but it is at New Orleans, and Houston has never been great against the tight ends. So we'll see.
I have Jared Cook ranked as my third best tight end this week, behind Travis Kelce and Evan Ingram. Really based off matchups to begin with, but I think that New Orleans is going to pass a lot in this game, and I have really high hopes for both Jared Cook and Michael Thomas.
Okay, fair enough. All right. We have to go ahead and get into some of these sits, but we got to rapid fire the sits because we do need to cover some news here, Dale. Okay. So let's rapid fire some of the sits. Quarterback sits, Cam Newton versus the Rams. Still kind of nagging injury, and the Rams defense is legit, just like their offense.
Correct.
All right. Other quarterback sits, players that you don't really want to put out there, Marcus Mariota, Ben Roethlisberger, and Mitchell Trubisky. Big Ben's on the road. I think that's a classical thing, but I think you got to see what happens to Big Ben without his two premier weapons and really see the shape that this offense takes. I'm not super hesitant as much as I would be with starting like a Mariota or Trubisky. I would not feel good with either of those guys, but Ben Roethlisberger could be okay, but temper expectations at least on the road and to start the season.
Right. This is not the week to test out Sam Darnold. I know I've been talking him up all offseason because I do like him, but this is not the week to do that. Jets are playing the Bills. Definitely don't want to do that. Also, I'm not telling you not to start or, not to look at Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams, but they do have a, somewhat tough matchup against the Bears on Thursday night. So take that for what you want. Not a great matchup, but I guess, I don't know. You said rapid fire, and I'm dragging it along. I'm sorry.
Speaking of not great matchups,
I'm not playing MVS this week.
Aaron Jones, Marlon Mack, and Latavius Murray are some running back sits, but our big running back sits here are Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry. Monday Night Football for Jacobs, playing against the Broncos in his first game. I'm not sold on Jacobs, obviously, as a rookie running back, but the Broncos weren't great against the run here, so give me a little bit of rationale as to why Jacobs will be potentially bad this week, because I'm on the fence here. I could go either way. I think he could potentially be decent. I obviously don't have him as, a top 12 running back or anything like that, but he'll sneak into my top 24.
Look, and of course we're basing all this off of what defenses did well last year in additions to the teams in the offseason. The Broncos, they're decent. They have a decent run defense. I think I'm still running with Josh Jacobs on Monday night.
You're running with him?
I'm running with him right alongside. I think he's gonna be okay. I think he'll be okay. I don't necessarily think this is a sit.
Okay. Derrick Henry, however, is a huge sit for me.
Yeah.
The Titans just aren't a good team. He could score a touchdown, but I don't think he gets over like 50 yards.
Right.
So you're really banking on whether or not he scores, and that is scary to do at the running back position. You could do that at tight end position because there's not a lot out there, but I think there's better options for the running backs. So wide receivers to sit here, T.Y. Hilton and Robbie Anderson are the big names, and he also put other wide receivers such as DJ Moore, Sterling Shepard, and Corey Davis. Give me a guy here that really stands out as this is a guy I'm avoiding on this list.
Not on that list, but I'm not starting Robbie Anderson. I'm thinking of guys that might be kind of fringe players.
He's there. He's literally the second name on the list.
Okay, yeah. I'm nervous about Robbie Anderson this year and this week in particular. Don't give up on him for the year, but this is going to be a tough week for him. T.Y. Hilton, of course, doesn't have a great matchup in the quarterback situation.
It's not even the Jacoby Brissett thing. It's again, let's go back. The Rams defense is legit.
Yeah.
So remember that when you're considering Marlon Mack, when you're considering T.Y. Hilton, when you're considering Eric Ebron or Jack Doyle, the Rams defense is legit, and T.Y. Hilton has a chance to struggle this week, and the consensus ranking has him as a top 24 wide receiver. I probably will not have him there, and I love T.Y., man. He's my boy, but not this week.
Oh, God, I mean, when you're talking about top 24, by the way, I have T.Y. Hilton at 26.
Yes, top 24. I'd much rather have guys behind him. I'd rather play Will Fuller, I'd rather have Alshon Jeffrey. I'd rather have DJ Moore. I'd rather have Marvin Jones this week than T.Y. Hilton.
I'd rather have D.D. Westbrook.
I'd rather have Dante Pettis. I'd rather have D.D. Westbrook.
Yep. Cool. I think we're on the same page there,
yeah.
man.
So I am all with you here, Clayton, even though you spell defense weird because you're Canadian. It's spelled with an S, man.
A couple other...
the other one is defense.
A couple other running backs.
Hurricane blew over defense.
I'm a little worried about Darius Geis. Again, another guy I was really high on. I'm not crazy about him this week. Tough matchup there. And really, if you got him as your running back 3/4, you might be able to find a different flex play instead of Darius Geis. And yeah,
tight end sits Kyle Rudolph, David Njoku, and Darren Waller. Why you got to sit David Njoku, man?
I don't know.
I guess the Titans were good against the tight end.
They were
okay.
Year.
No, they were okay. Good. They were good. They were good. It was like the one thing they do well. Fuck the tight ends.
I don't think I'm playing him as a sit. It's that one's kind of up in the air, but I respect Clayton's opinion. That's a close one for me.
If you want to continue reading this article and rehash some of the names here, eatsleepfantasy.com. Click on Week 1 Start and Sits by Clayton Cadeau. And you can follow him at Cadeau Clayton on Twitter. That's CADIEUX Clayton on Twitter. Thank you very much for producing that. Dale, before we
hold on,
wrap up our episode.
Hold on. No. Hold on. Yesterday I came up with a good idea for JJ because JJ does Field of Streams, and I told him he should rename it to Streamers and Dreamers. So like streamers and then like bold predictions. Streamers and Dreamers. Clayton, instead of sit and start, he needs to do Clayton's, Cadeau's, and
Cadon'ts.
Don'ts. Yeah.
Cadeau's and Cadon'ts.
Look, I'm just a big idea guy here. Clayton, you could do whatever you want, but
That's perfect because we don't even know if his name is Kadu or Kado. So, like, Kadoos and Kadon'ts is amazing, actually.
thanks, man.
Like, that's amazing. Clayton's Kadoos and Kadon'ts, and it needs to be spelled the same way.
Yes, absolutely. That's Clayton. If you knew it was good for you, you'd change the name of your article.
You could put start and sits in, like, fucking
Parentheses.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, I forgot that word.
Did
Did you know that the ampersand was part of the alphabet?
Don't you fucking dare.
Nobody. Why do I keep doing inside jokes on the fucking podcast? It makes no sense to the thousands of people that have no idea what I'm talking about. So before the show starts, Dale loves to give me like random trivia for no fucking reason. And he's just like, we're prepping and he's just like, hey man, did you know the ampersand was part of the alphabet? Like, just out of nowhere. This is the type of shit that I have to deal with, by the way. So, yeah, man, I'd like to take credit for providing you guys with that little piece of trivia. Little tidbit.
Thanks.
Quick news. Quick news here. Zeke is now signed. Jimmy Graham practiced. DK Metcalf is going to be a starter this week. Dak Prescott is the next person on the list for a potential extension. Cam Newton's kind of off the injury report, but keep an eye on it. And Stefan Diggs, keep an eye on him because he did not practice on Wednesday.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add there, Dale? I just wanted to rapid fire because I don't want to go over on time, but I think most of that news, along with what we already discussed with the running back situation for San Francisco, was discussed.
You know what makes me upset? So the little and sign is the ampersand, right?
Right. Which it looks like a person dragging their butt on the floor.
Oh, yeah, kind of does. And then, like the pound sign or the tic-tac-toe sign is a hashtag, but the @ symbol is just called the @ symbol.
I'm pretty sure it has a name.
It doesn't.
It doesn't?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yep. It's commonly known in English as an @ symbol. That's really bad. So.
All right, hold on. I'm on the Wikipedia entry.
It doesn't look like it's,
Hold on. I'm reading a list of emoticons. 1 second.
Okay. Let me know when you get to the @ symbol.
The @ sign. It's normally read aloud as @
See?
It's also called the @ symbol or the commercial @
That's horrible. We need a name for that symbol.
Mm-hmm.
It could mean @ but it should be called like a weird word like parenthesis or ampersand.
Well, it says the commercial @ I like that.
Okay. So you can reach us contact commercial @ eatsleepfantasy.com.
Oh man, I feel like if I was to draw a graph of how this episode started versus how it ended, it is just a hard straight line downwards.
Down, straight down.
Straight down. If you made it this far, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go check us out, though, on eatsleepfantasy.com. We have some great content, again, from our writers, from our DFS staff. If you're interested in checking out Daily Fantasy and you want a podcast on that, check out Eat Sleep Fantasy's DFS and Dynasty pod. They give you both sides of it. They give you the long-term Dynasty, but now this week they're going to give you a lot of DFS, some insights there. They're great at what they do. Huh?
One more thing. Don't forget, John is actually giving away a George Kittle autographed 49ers jersey. If you guys are interested in that, he has a list of things that he wants you to do. That sounded like 50 Shades of Grey type stuff. But he has stuff that you need to do for it. You need to follow him on Twitter @JL_Chapman. JL_Chapman, and he will give you the details on how to win that jersey. One of the details actually is subscribing to our YouTube channel. So if you're already doing that, you're halfway there.
All right. Cool. Right. Make sure you visit our YouTube channel, eastleigfantasy.com. Hit that subscribe button. That's what Dale was saying. You got to do it.
Really quick, don't forget, go to our website. Also, click on the Nitrogen Sports banner and sign up at Nitrogen Sports. Really good sports betting website. You've heard us talk about it a million times, but it helps us out and it supports our partners. So we appreciate you guys, and we will talk to you guys hopefully.
Why are we talking faster now? Like, are we running out of time?
I don't know. I think people are just getting bored of us, and I want to hurry up and talk before they hang up.
For those of you that stayed all the way through the end, first one to tweet at me saying I stayed all the way to the end. You can tweet either at eSleepFF or at myself at Brito Fantasy. I'll have something for you. I don't know what yet. I'll have something for you.
Nice. All right. For Christian Brito, my name is Dale. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow for week 1.
Might be a picture of my dick.
We might go live.
It's probably a picture of my dick.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with
John,
Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah, Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.